Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am going to share with you my 5 most expensive handbags in my collection. I'm going to share with you how much I paid for them, whether or not I would still pay that for them today, if I think they're worth it, do I regret them, and overall what I think of that bag versus that price. And starting with the 5th least expensive handbag in my collection, and it is this one. This is the Chanel Sequenced Mini, which I very recently bought from the LA collection. I think that was potentially cruise for Chanel. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the tackiness. I fell in love with the sequence. I fell in love with the Paris and the Cambon. Obviously, the initial store for Chanel was Rue Cambon in Paris. I've been there on a number of occasions. I've had fabulous times. So whenever I saw this bag, it just spoke to me. It called to me. And it was a bag that I thought was right up my street. Just the connotations of what it says on it and the sparkle and the sequenced, and I absolutely loved it. But it wasn't cheap. I do have to say though, in my defence, there was another bag that was on the runway for this collection and it was stunning, and I did inquire about it, but it was around about £17,000 sterling. So I quickly passed on that sequence bag and went back to this one. Now this one was by no means inexpensive, but it was less expensive than that one. This bag was €6,500, which I think worked out for me at the exchange at the time in and around £5,800. That is a lot of money for a mini. I get it, I totally get it, but I absolutely love the Chanel Mini. I think they're fabulous bags. I have a lot of them, probably too many of them, but I find them very easy to use. I find them very wearable. This one I thought was just very distinctive with all of the sequenced on it, with the pattern on it. I thought this was a bag that because I wouldn't be using this every day, it's not an everyday bag by any stretch of the imagination, I thought this was a bag that I would still be able to use in many years' time because it's not going to get that much use every day. I just loved it. Is it worth €6,500 or 5,800-ish pounds sterling? No. Worth is relative, and Meredith described this really well whenever she said that worth is what you're prepared to spend for it. It's worth for your wallet, and there's bags that I will spend this amount of money on that another bag that I could equally love, I won't think it's worth that price and I won't pay it. But this one, I fell in love with it so hard that I just got on board with its expensiveness and paid for it. It's a small mini bag though, and it's made of sequins, which you do have to be careful with. You're not going to be able to throw this about as much. You will have to be careful wearing it crossbody in case it wears on the back. So is it worth £5,800? No, it's probably not. Would I buy it again? Yes, absolutely, because I love it and I've no regrets about buying it, and I think it fits into my collection perfectly. But a very expensive version I accept. And that and number 4 on my most expensive bags actually are very, very close in their price. And number 4 is this one. It is my Arty Capucines from Louis Vuitton in the BB size. This, whenever I bought it, was in and around between €6,500 to €7,000. But the way the exchange worked out at the time, because I shop in both euro and in sterling, this ended up costing me, I think, in and around £5,700, £5,900. So I'm putting it at number 4 because I think it may have went just slightly more expensive than the Chanel Mini, but very close. It was in and around that region. I think this is stunning though, and these bags, to buy an Arty Capucines now, I've looked at them in the last couple of collections and the price has went up and up and up. I think when I looked at these in the last collection, they were in and around £8,000, which is huge, very, very expensive, and I didn't pull the trigger on any of those. I would have to absolutely love an Arty Capucines to buy one at their prices. Is this worth it? I think this is probably objectively more worth it than what the Chanel Mini is because of the craftsmanship in the bag. I'm not saying that doesn't have craftsmanship, it does obviously, and the sequenced do spell out the words and everything. It is a Chanel Mini though, and it's in sequenced. The craftsmanship in these bags, in the Capucines from Louis Vuitton, is absolutely stunning. The workmanship, this is all kind of embroidered into the leather. The leather is all stitched in and etched. This is velvet. Obviously the Arty Capucines is a collaboration between Louis Vuitton and particular artists, and they put their own spin on it, and these can look very different from one another. One artist's version will be hugely different from another. A lot of people won't like them because they're very in your face, but the work on this, I think if you're looking at this objectively, this is probably worth the price more than that. For me, worth it because I love it and it's a one-off in my collection. I don't have another BB in the capucines. I don't anticipate buying another BB. It was very expensive, but as I say, it's hugely more expensive now. And I would buy this again at the price that I paid for it. I don't know if I would buy this again at the price it is today. I think it's around £8,000. I don't know if I would do that, although there's another bag I'm going to talk to you about and you're going to think you would pay it for that and you wouldn't pay it for the Arctic capucines. I know I'm going to get a bit of dissenting views on that one, but yes, no regrets on this one for me. I don't know if I would pay today's price, but I would buy it again at the price that I bought it for. Number 3, I think, is this one, and I say I think this one because this and number 2 are very similar in price again, and I bought them both. No, I didn't. I bought that one in sterling. I bought this in euros, so I have to work in the conversion. So I think this is number 3, and it is the Lady Dior in the mini size for a very tiny bag in sequenced. From memory, and I tried to find the price, I think this was over €8,000, around about €8,500. I think with the conversion, I paid for this around about £7,700. Which is a lot of money. I know, I hear the judgment coming down the screen. I hear it, but I loved it and I decided I was going to buy it. And I knew when I bought it that this was not going to be an everyday piece. This was going to be a piece in your wardrobe that I would bring out for years, that I wouldn't wear hugely on a day-to-day basis, but I just loved, I fell in love with it. And I think for me now, because I am lucky enough to have quite a collection of handbags, they don't really need to pull at practicalities for me because I can generally cover what I need them to cover. Now I just have to fall in love with it. And this one I just adored. I bought this in Milan with my husband. Even he loved this bag. I was surprised that he encouraged this at the price of it. It was a huge amount of money, but I think it's stunning. Would I do it again? Yes, in a heartbeat. I love this one that much. I just love the jungle design on it. I love it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. I caught it. Yes. Now, where did I get to before my 4-year-old came to join me? So did I think it was worth it? No, it's not worth this amount of money for a very small mini Lady Dior in sequence that you're not going to use that often. Would I buy it again? Yes, in a heartbeat. Absolutely. I absolutely love it. I knew when I was buying it that I was buying a one-off type of piece that I wouldn't wear a huge amount, and I was okay with that, and I got on board with the price. If it went up much more, I don't know if I would still continue to buy it because it was hugely expensive for what it was, but I love it and it makes me happy, and it was a bag that I decided that I was just okay with the price off. And worth is very personal, but objectively I would say probably not because of what it is and how much you can use it or you can't use it. But for me, absolutely no regrets. I love it. I just think it's that stunning and it makes me happy. Number 2, and very close in price to the mini Dior that we just talked about from the Pharrell collection for Louis Vuitton in the red leather. When I unboxed this bag, I got quite a number of comments saying, but you didn't tell us how much it was. Yes, I hadn't actually accepted it by that point and I was trying to hide from myself the price that this bag was, and I didn't own that. But yes, I didn't. It was close to £8,000. I think in sterling it was around about 7,800. Huge amount of money. Is it worth it? No, it's not. It's a leather speedy. The leather is beautiful. It's soft, it's stunning. It's a beautifully made bag. The craftsmanship in this, it's so soft, it's stunning. But does that make it worth £7,800? No, doesn't. For a speedy. I think though, if you love it, you love it. And for me, I tried to convince myself that I didn't need this bag. I tried to convince myself that I didn't love this bag. I tried to convince myself that you don't like the Speedy 25. You've said it's too bulky for you. You don't like to use it. You don't like it for lots of reasons. You don't really buy red bags. You buy pink bags. Why are you buying it? I just couldn't get it out of my head. It lived in there rent free. I was obsessed with it. I just fell in love with it. And I had to do it as much as I tried to convince myself that I shouldn't. And I nearly bought the green. I loved the green as well. If money were no object, I would have a green and a red. If I had that amount of money and was happy to just collect bags, I would have both because I loved them both. They're stunning bags. Is it worth it? No. Would I do it again? Yeah. I don't regret it. I absolutely love it. I think it's a stunning bag, and I know it's a Speedy. I've talked to Ian on Instagram that also has one in the green, and it's beautiful. And I think you just have to get past the fact it's a Speedy, because in my head, I almost had a mental block to the price of this bag, because I have a Chanel Classic flap over there, which is now, even how much is that, like £8,000 or something? Huge amount of money. Other bags that are huge amounts of money. The sequenced Lady Dior that we just talked about, that I'm hardly ever going to be able to wear, that was nearly £8,000. These were very similar. So why did I get hung up on the price that it's a Speedy for that price? Because it was in my head that it's a Speedy, and we're kind of used to a Louis Vuitton Speedy being in the canvas and being at the more accessible level of luxury prices. They're not cheap, but as luxury prices go, they're at the more accessible level. This isn't. No, this is at the very, very, very high level, and I had that in my head that it's a Speedy. Why would you buy that for a Speedy? If I had never seen this before and didn't know it was a Speedy, and was looking at it the way I walked into the store and saw the sequenced mini, for example, I got on board with the price. I had to get over the fact it was a Speedy. I don't regret it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's so beautiful. And yes, it's a huge amount of money. Objectively, do I think it's worth it? No, I don't. But for me, I made it be, because I really wanted it and loved it. And yeah, it's one that splits opinion. It's one that a lot of people love. A lot of other people think with the price, it's just crazy. It is crazy. I'm probably in both camps. Yeah, no regrets, but a lot of money. And then finally, my most expensive handbag in my collection, and I doubt this is going to come as a surprise to anybody, and it is the Birkin. Now, if I had been fortunate enough to be able to get the Birkin 25 in Rose Papri, in Togo leather, in palladium hardware, this exact specification from the boutique without having to do a spend history. If I had been able to do the wishlist system and bought nothing and this bag just came to me, this bag would probably be around about the price of the Speedy and the Dior, aren't they? Around about £8,000-ish. I don't have that type of luck or relationship with Hermes. I don't have a spend history. I've bought things that I love, but I don't buy a huge amount of Hermes. So I didn't spend a lot of money on things that I maybe kind of wanted or kind of liked to get this. So that wasn't built into the price of the bag for me, but I did go down the reseller route for this because I didn't want to be bothered with any of that. I didn't want to have to try and think of things to buy. I will buy the things that I love from Hermes. Yes, I have my blanket out there that my son's probably wrapped in right now since he came to say hello. I have things that I love, but I wasn't going to buy other things to try and get this bag. I wanted exactly what I wanted. I was no room for manoeuvre on the specifications, the colour, the leather, the size. I wanted exactly this. I also didn't want to wait because I'm not the most patient person in the world. I would have waited a reasonable extent of time. Like I waited for the Chanel Mini over there 6 months because that was from the runway. I waited on the Speedy months from when I pre-ordered it. I would be reasonable on the waiting, but I wasn't waiting years. I wanted what I wanted. I wanted the bag that I wanted, and I decided to go down the reseller route, and it worked for me. Is it worth it? If you could walk in and buy the bag at the price that they sell them retail without having to play the game, without having to buy lots of things, without having to go through that, if you were lucky enough to get it one-off on the wish list, then obviously this is not worth it because I've paid a lot more than that. Is it worth it for the price of the bag, the reseller route? No. You're paying the extra money because you specifically want a Birkin or a Kelly, whichever one it is. You're paying the extra money because you want this bag, be it the status of it, be it the look of it, the colour of it, or you just want to have one. So you're paying that inflated price to have this. Is that worth it? Does it make it worth it objectively to pay that amount of money just because you want that bag? No, of course it doesn't. It does not make it worth it. I think I paid somewhere around £14,000 for this bag, which is ridiculous, huge, massive. But it's what they are if you go down the resale route. I didn't have to do the spend history. I didn't have to wait. I made the decision for me that it worked for me. I made the decision for me that it was worth it for me. I made the decision that I wanted the bag that much, that I was willing to do that. That's a very personal decision and a privileged position to be in. I accept that. Objectively, is that worth it? No, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts to spend that amount of money for a bag that is that much above retail, but I got on board with it for myself. Do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? Probably yes. If I still wanted one of these and I particularly wanted this version, would I go down that route again, pay that money again? Yes. Would I go and do it today for another one? No. When I got this one, and I said in the unboxing video, I was quite happy in the knowledge that this may be my only Birkin, that I was going to do this once, pay this money, get the exact bag that I wanted, but I wasn't going to keep doing it. I wasn't going to keep buying more of them at that price. So would I do it again? No, I wouldn't. Would I do it again if I didn't have this one and it was me still trying to get this one? Yes, I probably would. That's still the route I would probably go down, because I got on board with the price, I made it work in my mind, because that's normally where I have the most problems with it, and I accepted that. Objectively, no. Regret it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not be wanting to try and get one of these from the boutique. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the patience for that. It's just not what's going to work for me. So no regrets at all. Objectively, worth it? No. Worth it for me? Yes, because I rationalised it in my own mind. Doing it again for another one? No. So those are my 5 most expensive bags. To the most that I can estimate it, what I paid for them. I don't track the cost of my bags because I would drive myself crazy if I did that, and I think I would get scared looking at the numbers and the list. So I've tried to remember as close as I possibly can how much they were, and I think that is the 5. No, I'm fairly certain that is the 5 most expensive, and I think that's in the right order. Aren't they crazy? Let me know what you think in the comment box, and I can take it because I know some of it is going to be "you're nuts, woman," and I know that, but I've got on board with it, and these are what I chose as my 5 most expensive bags. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that this was entertaining, even if it's just to laugh at my stupidity. If you did enjoy it in any way, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please do consider subscribing. And if you're not done with me yet, I'm going to leave another video for you on the screen to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.